Hello, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute. Yeah, I haven't posted in a minute. I've been active, just not online. It's this thing called living life and taking in the opportunities that are present, being in the moment. And I'm reminded of that quite constantly in part of why I decided to make this video. It's one of those things that I think about because of some of the things that I enjoy. But a little bit of an update is that I've been out, got to do some traveling with my wife, moving things along with work, and taking in the amazing place where I live here in Colorado, but also got to go down to Texas and visit with my parents. We had a fantastic time down there in the Waco area, traveled across to Alamogordo and visited the White Sands missile site out there. That was fun. Got some really cool photos and just taking it in. And part of that was just to reset, recharge a little bit, and hit the ground running when we got back. But I did take work with me. There was that. So it was vacation, but still juggling what needed to get done. And in that whole time, I was thinking about time, about how short life is. Too many people I know get so fixated on what cool place can they go to post a photo of where they are, or record a video of this cool thing to do. But then I ask the question, are they really enjoying it? Are they living life? And I feel like the answer in most cases is sadly no. And part of my time is because I'm enjoying what I have. There have been a few points that were a little bit stressful, sure. I decided to take on an opportunity that was presented to me, and that includes adding a degree to my list. I took some classes many years ago and had leftover credits, and there was an opportunity to consolidate those credits into a degree. So, as it is, I had to put the time in. I already did then, but there was still a test involved. There were boards and committees and individuals that I had to speak with and put in the effort to still get this degree. It wasn't just that they were going to hand it to me. So there was a test involved. There was a process, study, and preparing to make it happen, and feeling that time crunch. But overall, I don't think it'll be worthwhile. That's not to say in any way that a degree makes you better than someone else. A degree is just a piece of paper that shows, hey, you've put in the effort for it. And if you've done it for the right reasons, then it can be of value. But just to say you have a degree to have a degree, it doesn't do a whole lot. I know a lot of people that get some odd degrees for whatever their reason is. And some of them it's money, some of it's because they want to learn something. There's an argument made by a good friend and mentor and my pastor, and he makes the remark that if you're going to get a degree in something, it should also be something to broaden your horizons, to reinforce things that you already believe, to take in more ideas that are in line with what you're already thinking, but it's also to guide you and to have a structure. And so I do take that seriously. It's worthwhile. And at the end of the day, I got my notification the other day on email that my test had been approved. Everything had passed with flying colors, and they're going to be sending over transcripts and a diploma. So I'm excited about that. I'm on pins and needles. I got the notification that things are sent, but there was no tracking number. So anyway, time brings on a passion of mine, and that is the world of watches. I have enjoyed watches since I was a little kid. My mother and grandmother were the first ones to conspire and work out a detail that I got my first watch when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And I still have that watch. I don't wear it anymore. I really don't. It's very much telling of my age and also the time period, but I still have it. And that watch sparked an interest at the time that was reinforced later by films like James Bond and Steven Seagal's Under Siege and a few other movies that I truly enjoyed. But fast forward, I ended up collecting other watches and bringing in more of a appreciation for it, because as much as we have our phones, we have computers, all these things that have clocks on them, they have calendars and notifications and all these other things, but at the end of the day, there's not really a connection. And for me, time is important, not just from a day-to-day perspective, but also coming at things from a faith perspective. So when I think of time, I think of what is said in the book of James in the Bible, when he says that, life is like a vapor, there for a time and then gone. And I think the juxtaposition is rather interesting, because James, in our canon of the Bible, comes right after Hebrews, and in Hebrews 9:27, we're reminded that it is appointed unto man once to die, and then is the judgment. And what we do in this life, you and I, we can never truly repay God and the sacrifice of His Son, Jesus Christ, on the cross for all of sin. But we can give our best. That's our command that's given to us as mankind, as people, as human beings, is to live a life that is honoring to God, that's pleasing to Christ the Son, and that day when we finish our race, okay, when our time is at an end on this earth, and we're in eternity, and we can hear the words, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." And so, time is one of those things that I really do think about a lot. And I'm a young person, okay? Theoretically, I've got my life ahead of me. But tomorrow is not promised. And when you wear a watch, you really do think about tempus fugit. Time flies. And thinking back on memories, and this one particular watch here that I'm going to show you all in a moment, that it was given to me over 20 years ago, and I still have it to this day. But it's like, I just got that not too long ago, and then I really got thinking about it for a moment, and I realized, no, it's been more than 20 years that I got this watch. So it's a focus, and yet it's also a passion, because they are pieces of history. There's connections of events, of things that we've done, of people who we've been with. And for me, that's the joy of a watch. A phone, we upgrade these things every few years. We break them, and some of us hang on to the same phone for a good while, and then eventually we'll consider an upgrade. I don't like upgrading. The process is atrocious, but it is what it is, and it's a perpetual money trap. Go down the list. But hey, they're also useful. With that said, let's get to the real joy here and show you a piece that I enjoy. It doesn't work. Okay, it came to me not working, but my grandmother decided that I was old enough and responsible enough to take on a family heirloom, and at the age of 14, she gave me my great-granddad's pocket watch. This is from the 1930s. It is about a 46 or 48 millimeter oversized pocket watch by the company Tellus. It is a Swiss-made, here, let's open this up, caliber 517. It's the 517B. But you can see that in there, the beautiful tool workmanship. This isn't a beauty piece, okay? But very functional, very robust in the sense of durability. These weren't meant to be the most accurate piece you had ever had, but they were reliable. And my great-grandfather carried this watch for, as far as I understood it, for his lifetime. And then eventually it got passed down, and my grandmother was the one that ended up with it, and now it's mine. And it's a piece of family history that I get to hold, I get to look at and to touch, and I want you to see this. It has a beautiful argyle pattern there on the dial, and it is textured from what I can tell, and then the crystal is a mica hesselite type material. It is rather soft, but it works. It does the trick. And look at those numerals. I mean, they are applied hour markers, and then the indices all around there, and it has a 24-hour chapter ring on the outer edge. And then, of course, you have the inset 6 o'clock position second hand, and the gold-filled overlay on everything. That's just, it's beautiful. And I enjoy this, not because it's a functional piece. I mean, I could make it functional. I have the skills, I have the know-how to work on it and bring it back to life, but it's not about the function, it's about the fact that I have it. And check out that edging on there. Here. Look at that filigree work all around, etched into the silver of this watch. I mean, it's just marvelous. But I truly enjoy it. And no, it hasn't ran, but this is a piece of family history that I get to pick up and hold, to look at and remember my granddad, my great-granddad. And mind you, he wasn't a perfect person, okay? I hold a faith perspective. I hold a understanding of humanity, or make an effort to anyway. My great-granddad wasn't a perfect person, and living in Germany in the 1930s, growing up and being a young gentleman at the time, he was part of a certain party that was doing things at the time that were not right. And I'm avoiding saying certain things because I don't want the video to just get blocked out. But if you're a true student of history, you know the horrendous things that happened through the 1930s leading into the 1940s and the Second World War there in Germany. And even with his imperfections, okay, he's still my family. I never had the pleasure of meeting him. Not that I think we would have gotten along. I really don't know. But he held on to hatred in a way that no man should. None of us, okay? You and I, we don't, there's no good reason to do that. So, anyway, that's a reminder, and it's a physical object for me to be able to pick up his watch and look at that, to think back on it, and everything that I know about him is because of what my mother told me, what my grandmother told me before she passed on, and it's a connection with a physical object, but I get to hold it, I get to look at it. And there are other watches that are similar. The one that I slipped on today, this one holds a lot of memories for me, okay? It's nothing fancy, it's a very simple Timex. This one is one of the Expedition series. It is a Japanese import variety, but let me show you that. Clean, simple white dial, applied hour markers, horrendous loom, okay? Just, you press in the crown and you have the Indiglo feature. Use that. It has a reasonable date window there that does the trick and works the way that I want it to. But, simple watch. But the cool thing about this one for me, this is the watch that I picked out myself. I like the design, I like the look of it, and I wore this and have worn it for many years. It's the watch I was wearing when I got my first job that wasn't working for family. It's the watch I was wearing when I got my first promotion. It's the watch I was wearing when I did all sorts of little things here in life, and it's the watch I was wearing when I got saved, okay? On April the 8th of 2009, born and raised in a Christian family, all these things, but I made my decision right then and there that I knew without a shadow of doubt that I believe these things, but I wasn't professing them yet. I didn't have that personal conviction, that personal, this is my path to follow. I am going to honor God. And on April the 8th of 2009, wearing this watch, that was the decision I made. So, there are memories associated with these pieces. It's not just a physical object. This, as far as I know, I did look it up. It's a discontinued model, at least it's not on the Timex offering anymore. But, very simple, nothing crazy. It just tells the time, has a date window, and slim and rugged. 40 millimeter, wears like a 36 or a 38, but I like it. And all of these memories come flooding back when I look at this watch. And it's a reminder of what I was doing at a specific moment in time with my time. It's not about time spent. Too many people talk about, oh, how do I spend my time? How do you spend your time? And they'll ask that question. It's not about spending time. It's about investing time. And what you pour into, the time you are with family, in my opinion, that's time invested. That's time to learn. That's time to share. That's time to grow. The time that you're in church with your fellow believers, the time that you are studying, that's an investment into your future. That's an investment moving forward. The time that you are spending, if you will, reading the Bible, studying God's Word, is time invested into your future to know God better, to understand your position in life better, and to better teach others so that you can follow the command of Matthew 28, what we call the Great Commission, to be able to share the gospel with others, sometimes in a short time. Many people won't give you the time of day. And so, memories that are associated with these, but not really in order. I'm just going to pick another one here and show it to you. But truly one of my favorite pieces in my collection. And I told myself I wasn't going to get it unless I was with the company for at least a year or I got a promotion. Then I could have a treat. And two things happened at the same time. So I got a promotion and I also had a sale offering show up. And so I got it. And that is the venerable Seiko SKX. Black on white right there, white on black. Simple, it's the, 7S26R. You can tell how much I care about the specs. It's a non-hacking movement, keeps accurate time. I learned from family members who were watchmakers how to do my own tuning, and so these mechanical watches, I do my own work. If I really want it done, I can take care of it. But it's got a date window in there with the time, and that offset crown. It does have a replacement strap. I put it on this lovely silicone comfort strap that I just love. And I found it for all of $5. It was on the sale board at Walmart, 22 millimeter. I was like, I'll give it a shot for $5. I went to the checkout counter. I ended up only paying $2. But the original strap that was on it, I wore it forever. And then one day it fell apart. So, classic Seiko. You got the tsunami wave on the background there. Very nice. You can see that I have worn and used this watch. And I enjoy it. It's a good piece. For my wrists, I have rather hefty wrists, so it fits me well. And if I can adjust my keepers here and not get them tangled, I can show you a wrist shot with this watch on. The silicone stays in place beautifully, but still, I have space. I can move the watch around, and it's not crammed tight. But it works. It does the trick. But I've worn this watch on vacations with my wife. I've gone swimming with it. Mountain climbing. I'm an avid hiker. I get out here. We've got 14ers here in Colorado. That's a mountain that's over 14,000 feet of elevation on the top. And this watch has been with me for a few of those. And it's just a fun piece. So I get to pick this up, put it on, and I enjoy it. You do the Seiko shuffle, give it a few winds, watch the second hand pick back up, and then set the time and date, slip it on the wrist. People complain about setting the time and date on these. I'm sorry. I enjoy the process. It's fun. I truly, it's a process that I just enjoy. I don't have to go, ooh, I don't like that. I do it. There's also there's a heart to the watch. A mechanical watch, especially an automatic, if you don't wear it, if you don't interact with it, it dies. And then it'll sit there until you pick it up again, showing the wrong time and the date. And you have to put it on, you have to put in the time to set it, to keep it going. And I think that's rather enjoyable. It's a reminder that what we set our mind to, what we are invested in, keeps going. So, anyway, that'll bring us to another one here. I got this in May of 2016. I had a huge Bond influence. When you think Bond, it's Sean Connery. You got a little bit of the quirkiness there with Roger Moore later on. Little slapstick in a few places, but still some good stuff. He got into the weird digital watches, but Q got involved along the way. Timothy Dalton, we had our noir Bond. I love him. I wish he were in more than just the 2 films, but hey, it is what it is. We had Pierce Brosnan, brought back some of that suave, little bit of cheekiness going on there, and Omega. Nothing against him, but not quite my favorite. But then you have Daniel Craig. Oh, and I love this line when he is given the watch by Q, and it's this Omega Seamaster 300 professional chronometer, and he says, well, does it do anything? And Q quips back, well, it tells the time. And a little while later, he makes a remark, by the way, it does have a rather loud alarm. Now we come to find out that alarm is, boom, boom. So anyway, watches that are kinda like Bond. I like this Invicta 8926 OB. It has the Seiko NH35A movement in it. Kinda ugly, weird yellow rotor. But May of 2016, I picked this up, and for a long time I wore it with the bracelet. I've had a NATO strap on it, but as of late, I've got this nice Horween waxed leather strap that is totally counter to a dive watch look, but I enjoy it. And end of the day, that's what matters to me. I had this watch on when I was taking some scuba lessons out at Myrtle Beach in the summer of 2016, and it fits my wrist well. I like the look of it. It has a reasonably accurate chapter ring. The rotating dial is pretty solid. Kind of a weird sound, but not as clean as the Seiko. The Seiko is just a clean click. But anyway, it's a watch. It tells the time, it keeps the time. You gotta be invested in it and do your part. And justifying 11, 12, 15,000 for a Rolex Submariner, I'm sorry, they're cool. They're way cool. But not that cool. And this little Invicta has more than satisfied that interest for me, and there are a lot better things to put that kind of money towards. Invest in property, invest in some good real estate, invest in a business. Not a watch. I'm sorry. I'm not throwing that kind of money at a watch. So for $58, summer of 2016, I got this little beauty, and I put it on quite regularly. It keeps very accurate time and does what I want it to. It's got a cool look to it. And that'll bring up another one with good memories. So when my wife and I met, I was picking out watches and stuff, and didn't have a clue who the other person was, just to be very clear here. But I was planning on going to visit a church on a Sunday night. I was going to be getting in. The timing was going to work. And I was like, okay, I'll try to make it for the service. And I ended up making a mad dash. I just grabbed a watch, set the time on it, and got to church. And this is the watch that I was wearing. The Seiko SARB 033. Sadly, it's a discontinued watch. But anyway, this is the watch that I was wearing when I met my wife at the time. And later on, just a few days, it's the watch I wore on our first date. And later, on a crimson red gator leather strap. This is the watch that I wore for our wedding day with my black suit and cool tie. And yeah, memories right there, the time associations. We've since gone out for birthday dinners and date nights and such, and oftentimes this is the watch that I'll pick heading out the door. It's clean, it's simple, classy, sporty on this rather nice bracelet. This is a solid link bracelet, no chintzy end links, and I of course sized it to fit my wrist, so put it in place there. It has the double safety clasp. Look at that. I can still get a finger in there. Okay. It can move, but it doesn't slop on my wrist. Okay. It stays where I put it. And my microphone is behaving here. There we go. Back to normal. But it's the memories that are associated with these pieces. And the other is the way that I got the watch. I was talking with a dear childhood friend that I'm still good friends with to this day. And I had mentioned my interest in it, and he said he didn't like it. So we ended up working out a deal, and I got it. And just because he doesn't like it doesn't mean that I wasn't interested. And fast forward, I have enjoyed it immensely. I've made wonderful memories with my wife, with friends and other family members. When we go to visit her family for Christmas time or Thanksgiving, often this is the watch that I choose to wear. And it's just that constant association, that reminder. And as the day passes, as the time passes, it's a key that was time invested if it's done well. And time with family, in my opinion, is always time invested, okay? We never know when it's someone's time, when it's their day, when they won't be with us anymore. And so, for me, I get to associate a lot of that with wearing a watch. And when you look down to check the time and you see how much has passed in a given day, the watch is a way to do that, which brings up this little beauty right here. It's kind of ugly, kind of retro, kind of futuristic, cool, but not pretty. But it is the Casio DW5600E, the very classic G-Shock series, and the basic functions, tells the time. Millions of these things exist out on the market. But the cool thing about this one, and the meaning for me, my dad and I are avid hikers and outdoorsmen, spelunkers, and we like getting out. I'm not wearing, if I go back to this sucker here, at this point in time, if I wanted to replace this thing because it's sadly discontinued, the SKX, this is a $1,500 to $2,000 watch. I'm not wearing it crawling 400 meters into a cave and bashing it into the rock walls, and no. I'll wear it for many other things, but I'm not going to risk it in that. And that's where the G-Shock comes in. My dad and I ended up hiking more than 27 miles to get up a mountain, to sleep up on the saddleback, and then hike some more so that we could get into this cave that Spanish explorers discovered back in the 1400s. And he hadn't been back for more than 30 years, and I had never been in there in this particular one. And so we made a special trip together, and each was wearing one of these G-Shocks. And that way we could keep track of time. When you're underground and you can't see your own hand in front of your face, a watch is the only way that you know what time it is. So this is what I had with me. And we had a blast. We just had a good time, father-son moment. And when I think of this watch and I put it on, it's memories with my dad. And he's still around. I just got to go see him a few weeks ago. But I chose to wear this watch again. We went out bowling. I'm not going to wear one of my mechanical watch and smash it with a 16-pound bowling ball. But I'll wear a G-Shock. And we had a good time. So there's memories that just tie in so beautifully with these individual pieces, and that's worthwhile to me. Another one on divers, I'm not obsessed. Okay, maybe I am, but I'm not obsessed with having only mechanical movements. I do like a certain look, the classic diver thing, and that brings on the Casio Duro. This, of course, has the nice fishy fish on the back there. I got my Marlin. And then up on the dial, there you go. So I got this one also in 2016. It's on its third battery. I don't know what they did with this one. The movement inside is a little teeny tiny quartz thing, but the batteries don't last all that long and they're kind of small, but it keeps accurate time. It does it well. I do have the original strap to it, but I rather enjoy it on this, silicone rubber material with a waffle texture. Very comfortable, very flexible. I mean, I'm not trying hard, okay? This is a floppy strap, but it is so comfortable. It has a nice look to it, allows the watch to just sit so comfortably on my wrist that it works out perfect. And I really like it. It's a good tone for a sporty watch, and I don't have to worry about it drying out, hiking, swimming, whatever. I can get out there and it does it really well. And the size of this watch is large for some. I think it's around 43 millimeters, but I have large wrists. I'm at 8 1/4, 8 1/2, depending on time of day. And look at that. It fits me well. It doesn't slop around. It's not a lightweight watch, but I enjoy it. I don't know that I can say I have the same memory association that I have with some of the others, but some of the cool things that I have done while wearing this one is set some personal bests on deliveries with some of my jobs. I wore this one for years while driving big rig cross country, and I just wanted something that was clean, simple. I could glance down while I was driving and not lose track of where I'm going. I'm driving a 40-ton semi-guided missile. I didn't need to be distracted. And so I wore this watch quite a lot. And I still do. I grab it because I enjoy it. Simple as that. But there are some others that stand out to me a little bit more. This is one of those, I saw it and I didn't really think too much about it. I like Timex. I just do. Timex, Casio, they make some really good watches. Simple, clean, fit with a lot of things. And so I picked this one up, and this is one of those that I do know the reference to it. This is the Timex T49962, or T49662. Anyway, T49662. It is still available on Amazon. You won't find it as cheap as I did. I got this one for $23. It was on sale, and it actually came, and I have it right here. It came on this textile strap, which is not bad. It's actually a very comfortable strap. It just gets dirty really easy. It's this khaki color. Spring bars stay in place nicely. You can see right there the keeper, and it has the Timex logo and stuff on it. It is a great band, okay? I like this. It just shows dirt really well. The great thing is this watch goes really well on a leather strap. I mean, just look at that. And I've thrown it on black. I've thrown it on a NATO because whatever. But most of the time it lives on this lovely brown leather strap. Simple as that. I enjoy it. And oftentimes this is the watch that I'm wearing when I go to church. I don't need something flashy on. I don't need something crazy. I'm there to focus on the sermon, enjoy the good music with fellow believers, and be able to know what time it is. And so, if I'm asked to preach, I need to remind myself to quit getting long-winded and tie it up. People need to get home here. But I love this thing. It's simple, it's cheap in the sense of it's affordable. And I like the look of it. Very easy. I don't necessarily need the 24-hour time, but hey, cool, it's there. For me, that conversion makes sense. I don't need to think about it, okay? 6 is 1800. If I go to 9, that's 2100. It just makes sense. But if you need the reminder, it's right there on the dial. It looks good with basically any strap you can throw it at. Being the silver chromish finish on a brass case with the black dial and applied markers is just clean, simple. Look at that. Look at that. Nice and good. You don't have to get overcomplicated. It does the trick. It can be a little loud. In fact, let me do this. I don't know if you'll be able to pick that up. But it is a rather loud movement. And some people complain about that. I'm not saying this as a complaint. I actually like the tick, and that's true of any of my Timexes, okay? These suckers are kinda loud. And I don't know if you could hear that, but yeah, they have a sound to them, and for me, it's comforting. Call it what it is. I like it. And they work. They hold up, which is going to bring me to this one. I got it while I was at college in Florida. I was living in Pensacola at the time, and I just stumbled across this watch at the Cordova Mall, and I couldn't believe the price tag. They had a discount in the mall of all places, and they were selling this watch on this lovely green mil-spec color strap for a little over $18. It came out to 19 and change after tax. But this is the Expedition Scout. Okay, it's the same series as this. They're the same line. The difference is this has the yellow hand with the white hour and minute marker. This has white on white against a black back. And this is the gunmetal finish. This is the chrome finish. Take your pick. Fewer strap options realistically with this one, but there's a lot to it. I like the subdued gunmetal color. This one has a little bit more glitz to it if you like that. But when I saw this watch, it caught my eye because of a show that I enjoyed immensely growing up, and that is Richard Dean Anderson's MacGyver. And oh my goodness, the amount of trouble I got into because of that show. Not trouble in the sense of my parents were ticked off with me. It was more like, oh my goodness, what are you doing now? And he wore a watch similar. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a Timex. In fact, I know it wasn't. I have looked it up. And right now I don't remember what it was. But anyway, he had the yellow second hand, black dial, white Roman numerals, Arabic numerals, and this simple watch, but he wears it. And in that particular episode, he and this young lady that's with him are trying to determine direction, and they use their radio antennas and a broadcast signal in conjunction with their watches on the sun to determine direction, which, by the way, is possible. It's doable if you know the method. So, Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere, you gotta know what you're doing. But green strap, yellow hand, MacGyver. And this watch basically has always been on this green strap. I tried a couple of others here and there, and I've always gone back to this strap. And yes, it is old. I got it in mid-2015, and so it's worn. It has diesel stains, grease and oil from working on engines and tearing apart wheel bearings, but hey, it cleans up well. I like it, and nobody else has to. And that's fine with me. So I'm going to slip this one on wrist here and show you what it looks like. But it's just pretty straightforward, clean, and it's definitely a casual watch, but it's subtle enough that it just disappears. And being the outdoorsy person that I am, I like it. Now, here's the thing I did with it that you're not supposed to do with a 50-meter water resist, okay? That's only a 50 meter, so 5 atmosphere. It's supposed to be good for hand washing, maybe the shower. You really shouldn't because hot water, bad. And surface swimming. But no, the day I got it, I was taking snorkeling and skin diving lessons off the Pensacola coast there, and I swam down to a coral reef, and I managed to gouge the face of the watch from the 9 o'clock to the 6 o'clock right here. There is a pretty significant scratch. There we go. And I had it on the inside of my wrist, which I do on occasion, just because visibility, and when you're holding a spear gun, which mine wasn't loaded, by the way, but I had a spear gun on me, and going down, I reached across a reef and ended up scraping the face. So, yeah, memories that happened. This is also the watch that I wore oftentimes. This one or this one that I wore working in a print shop. I was the line manager, foreman, on the bindery for doing bookbinding. And so we had to use a time card for clocking in, and I had this watch set near perfect with that time-in clock so that when we were scanning our cards, I could get there in time because I walked to work. It was about a quarter mile, and I would get dressed for work, leave out around 6 and get in there. We clocked in at 6:30, and that was that. So it's the watch that I wore. And I have different memories that I can go to with these different pieces, and each one's unique. Each one's something that I pick it up and I go, oh yeah, that's then. And I remember it, and I enjoy that. And I think most people can associate that kind of a connection. I think of this fellow that posted recently on one of these watch groups on Facebook, and come to find out he has videos on YouTube as well. But he was talking about the fact he wanted to buy these kind of expensive watches, and he was going to wear them when his sons were born, and then he wanted to be able to pass them along. Well, fast forward, he realized he wasn't wearing this one watch in particular, and he said, what's the point? I want to pass on something that when they look at the family photos, they go, oh yeah, hey, there's Dad wearing that watch. And the problem was he wasn't wearing it. Every one of these watches, some more than others, obviously, but I wear them. And so if I do pass one on for some reason or leave it behind, there's a memory associated with it, a story that gets told. Like I said, some more than others. But he's talking about these really expensive watches, and he had spent good money on them, but then he wasn't wearing them. He wasn't enjoying them. And so he said, I might pass one on, but what am I really passing along? Because I never wore it. I never put in the time with it. And here the kid's going to get it and go, wait, that's Dad's watch, but Dad didn't even like wearing it. If you're going to have something, take the time to enjoy it. Put it on your wrist. And, make a memory. Scratch the face while you're out skin diving, or put a leather strap on a dive watch and wear it for everything else but diving. Whatever you do, think of the memory, think of the time. And when you do think of the time, think of, are you spending time or investing time? And as much as possible, I like to think of it as investing time. I enjoy spending time with my wife. There are days I might be annoyed and things are happening, they're not going as smoothly as they could. But at the end of the day, I love my wife. I enjoy spending time with her and trying to make a point of letting her know that. And when I look down and I see that watch on my wrist and I know who I'm with, those things connect. They go together. And none of us is promised tomorrow. So, pay attention to the time. Don't get hung up on it. Don't treat it as, oh my goodness, I have 10 years to live, or I have 6 months. Live your life as if tomorrow is not coming. Are you proud of what you did today? Have you done well today? And have you spent time with the people that you love? If you haven't, do it. So, anyway, there's that. I hope you've enjoyed this little walk down memory lane with me. It's another long-winded video, but hey, that's kind of my norm. And it's a total update as well. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And yeah, join the club. Invest the time. And better yet, know where you're going to spend eternity, my friend. Okay? I don't know you. Many of you I probably will never meet. But wherever you are today, I challenge you to do this. Ask yourself honestly, do you know where you're going to spend eternity? Because, my friend, there's only one of two places. And that first place is eternity in a very real place. It's called hell. In the book of Mark, we're told that it's where the fire is not quenched, the worm doesn't die, and there is eternal torment and darkness, and it's horrible. Okay? And I truly believe it, that this is a real place. And it gets worse from there, because in the book of Revelation, we know that death and hell get cast into the lake of fire. So there's a place worse than hell. But then there is a promise, okay? You don't have to choose God. He lets you choose. But if you choose God, He has a gift, and that gift is eternal life. And at that point, time means nothing. There's a beautiful line in the book of Revelation that time shall be no more. Every tear will be wiped away. Every problem will be done away with. And part of that is because of judgment. A just and holy God has to do what He has to do. He wants all. He wishes that none should perish, that all should come to Christ and be a part of the heavenly body. But there are those who will choose not to. and that's on you, okay? I can't control that. God's not here to control you. That said, if you do love God, if you do believe Him, honor Him. So, I'm going to do that right here. And pray for you. I wish you the very best. So, enjoy, and God bless.